So welcome everybody. Today we will start with Septentrio, the 5 key elements for a smooth integration of your GNSS INS in robotics. Speaking here at the great FIRA platform. Who is Septentrio? Septentrio is a high-end GNSS and INS technology provider. Reliability and providing reliable and accurate positioning and orientation systems for various applications, whether it's agriculture, machine control, but also for robotics. So basically we can be your preferred OEM partner for orientation and positioning systems. Septentrio is a global organization with more than 100 employees. Our headquarters is based in Leuven. Apart from the good beer and the good fries, of course, we have a major access towards many technology centers and research centers and providers in general in Belgium. Apart from that, we have a global presence, not only in sales offices, but of course also in support offices. So when you need local support in certain regions, we can provide it with our application engineers across the world. Septentrio is a spin-off of IMEC, founded in 2000, so 20 years ago. And in 2003, we introduced GNSS receivers for auto steering equipment, for farm equipment towards SBG, back then a part of Raven. And in 2016, we actually started supplying GNSS solutions towards this great NIO robotics company, as everyone knows, of course. So less mass actions and more selective. I think the picture says it all. We will move slowly or actually rapidly in more precision ag and smart farming, resulting in much more smaller robots, automated and autonomous robots with a selective and a single plant analysis and intervention. Meaning that GNSS and INS becoming more and more critical because you need a good accuracy and you need a good orientation for your vehicle. But also, we need to deal more and more with signal obstructions and other difficult environments and influences. If we look at Septentrio, we're a very critical component, often a critical component in various applications. Whether it's a ship, a machine, a NIO robot, or whether it's a drone. Basically, we are always the heart of a robot, meaning that it's a very critical component in a robot. So let's talk about the 5 key elements for a smooth integration. We see this as ease of use, ease of integration, orientation, reliability, and environments and influences. When we look at ease of use, we have multiple options for various needs, and actually corrections is one of them. So many robotics companies want to enable robots as a service. This brings sometimes hassle, well, actually often a lot of hassle towards the customer side with additional services, additional fees you need to implement. We have these systems out of the box ready to use. And also web applications. We have several web applications which enable you to even look at your smartphone, reviewing your live analysis and doing a live analysis on the go. Also configurations on the go is available, resulting in troubleshooting from actually anywhere in the world. So when you want to support your customer and you cannot physically attend, this is no problem with our solutions. Apart from that, of course, everyone needs a low power solution for electric vehicles and a fast initialization startup phase. And we have this captured in our products also. So if we look at ease of integration, we have various interfacing options. We have a cross-platform communication, but also configurable PPS outs and several event markers you can use for your actionable parts on your robot. A ROS driver is available. We have a great robotics interface board, which really makes your life a little bit more easy. We have the option to use integrated IMU on our devices. With this, you can, for example, use fuse data, but also use your own raw data and fuse it yourself. We can also enable it in parallel, meaning that you can use the fuse data simultaneously with the raw data, using it for other sensing elements in your robot. Eventually, with our great RX tools and configuration tools, it will again make your life a little bit more easy and basically speed up and shorter your time to market in general, because less testing is needed. If we look at orientation, we really have a one-stop shopping, meaning that you can choose between a dual antenna, a single antenna, or an INS system. Our devices and our units also work very well with certain slow dynamics. Don't worry about vibration issues. We have a good component selection and calibrated components, but also a very good software to withstand these kind of difficulties and challenges. Maintain precision. Of course, we always need the precision and maintain the precision even when you have RTK signal loss, and you can use roll and pitch, for example, for your safety systems. Even when you don't have the space for a dual antenna, we have enabled a full 3D attitude for you available with several products. If we look at the reliability, we have a great sensor fusion which enables a great dead reckoning. So when you have a signal loss, don't worry, we can capture it with our INS device and dead reckoning. Also, magnetic influences are not a problem at all. Consider when you work around high crops and trees, we have a great multi-path solution in our system, which cover this signal. We are very experienced in GNSS. Of course, we are already 20 years in business. Ask yourself the question, do you want to compromise? Do you want to cost a couple of €100 in savings, or do you really go for operational excellence? Often a robotics company also has a certain liability. What if you destroy your crops because of a signal that you cannot trust? Or what if an accident is happening? We have great integrity levels and also can deal with certain influences which are not known yet on the commercial market that will ionospheric monitoring, for example. So ask yourself this question, if my system, my GNSS or INS system is really reliable enough for your robot. If we look at environmental influences, a lot of talking about spoofing and jamming lately. It's massively important to have the correct signal, and of course you need to sleep well when your robots work at night, maybe in the field. So we have several anti-spoofing and anti-jamming software, and not only software, but it's really integrated into our chips. Know that jamming is happening a lot. Many truckers have a jammer inside. So this will not interfere with the systems. Meaning that you can always be operational. You don't want to have a shutdown, of course, of your operations in the field because a few kilometers away, a jammer is active. Also security, a massive important element, authentication, secure protocols. We have this covered in our solutions. And last but not least, if we look at the robustness, we have calibrated for temperature, of course, and also the use with anti-vibration software. Our systems are very well capable to withstand all kinds of influences on this case. So if we look at our products, we have modules, boards, but also house receivers. You can switch between them, which is really relevant for scaling up. Correction service are included. We have several robotic interfaces and several interface boards, which you can very well use and make your life easier as an integrator. So if we sum it up, these are basically the crucial 5 elements for your success as an integrator. Ease of use, ease of integration and orientation, reliability, and of course consider the environmental and influences you need to deal with. If you want to test our devices, that's no problem at all. We provide a free driving test, free drive testing. So just send a mail to my email address or send it to one of our colleagues, which are active during the whole FIRA event. Please feel free to chat, to reach out, or to ask any questions. We will be present and happy to help you and support you. Thank you. Any questions for the Q&A?
You have a question in the Q&A section.
I see. Yeah, we can share some information about cost. I would do this offline because we have many products, of course, which vary from a couple of €100 to several thousand euros, really dependent on the fit. But yes, let's have a discussion in the chat and we can provide some information on this. That's no problem. We have another question. Do you have a 3 antenna system with that reckoning? Arno or Gustavo, one of my colleagues, can you comment on that?
Maybe Gustavo, if you want to take this one. We currently don't have such a system, but maybe Gustavo knows more about the roadmap for such a feature.
Can you hear me, just to make sure?
Yes,
yes, we can.
We can.
So indeed, we don't really have a triple antenna system. It really depends, of course, on the use case and how this is mounted on the robot. I mean, it's always possible to use one of our dual antenna systems and put a third GNSS system. Of course, we have several solutions there. But yeah, for the moment, we don't really have a 3 antenna. We have seen mainly the use cases for 2 antenna. However, what I can tell you, to have the 3 angles of the vehicle itself, as Steph mentioned on his presentation, there is the GNSS INS elements of technology, and that can definitely give you a very reliable 3D orientation as well.
Another question from Andy. How do you deal with GPS outages and how long can the outage be? That's a very good question. Gustavo, can you comment from a theoretical point? And I will fill in the practical.
Yeah, again, I think from the GNSS outages, again, GNSS INS is indeed definitely the solution that will be able to help there. How long the outage can be, that's something actually we have the different products there, so we might have to take a look at the different outages there. And it also depends in the type of use case again. So as an example, for the agriculture robotics outages, we believe that our GNSS INS products are quite capable to work in those. This will be completely different if you will be using our products in an automotive application where you have a tunnel or something like that, no? But for the outages next to, as an example, next to the farm or covered by the agriculture crops or something like that, the GNSS INS products have a good performance there.
Yeah, and it also fully depends on the system, the full setup, right? So it depends if you use other sensing elements. So we can have a chat on that, Andy. That's no problem, to give you some more information on our capabilities from that side. Then another question from Andy: what kind of scenarios you have tested then for agriculture? Gustavo, can you?
Yeah, I can also try to help there. I think definitely the I would say the weaving type of applications is the more common, especially in the agricultural robotics that we will see. As you might know, we're already integrated in some of the robots from some of the robot companies that you will see during the show, as an example with NIO. So yes, we already have that definitely use case of smaller robots or even mid-sized robots as well. And in agriculture in general, we also, of course, have also customers which are installing our GNSS receivers in large tractors for mainly steering, automatic steering type of applications as well there. So I would say we have a bit of variety on those applications as well.
Meanwhile, we will check the chat. No further questions. There's coming up another one. Yugas, how do you do the satellite corrections? For instance, Trimble has a RTX fast correction service. Do you have your own? We have Subcorda as a correction service. I don't know if Arno or Gustavo can elaborate a little bit more on the tech side.
Sure, I can also help there. So indeed, for corrections is something that Septentrio is actually trying to make a big change for the market. And what we are trying to implement now is what we call the SECOREX corrections from Septentrio, which is indeed using the service from Subcorda, which is an SSR type of service. Now, what we are trying to make it very attractive, especially and fitting very well to the agriculture market, is the bundling of the GNSS receiver with corrections for what we call 5 years coverage, that you don't have to worry about configuration of entry or anything like that. Our service will work with internet access, but also will work with L-band corrections behind that. So that I think that's a very attractive, especially in terms of the pricing bundling that we are putting GNSS corrections and the ease of use, which we believe is quite important for this robotics market, which is you just switch on the receiver and you have immediately the high accuracy corrections enabled.
Another question from Brian had a question, but it popped away. I see.
It was answered in the chat.
Just to clarify, because the question was also in RTX, fast corrections. Yes, our service is also a fast convergence service as well. So it's immediate. We are actually handling, our spec is 10 centimeters, but we have even reached better accuracy sometimes as well.
Yeah. I think there are no other questions anymore. So then I would like to thank you all. Yeah, if you have any further questions, please reach out to us. We're available in the FIRA booths, at the Septentrio booth. One of us is always available, either a technical person or a commercial person. So don't hesitate to ask our questions and get into contact with us. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Great day.